And a very good evening to you, and welcome back to another series of Beyond Gardens Live. My name's John Cole, and it's my pleasure to be joined in the studio tonight by John McWilliams.
Hello.
And also Steve McCabe.
Hey.
And between the three of us, we'll do our level best to answer your garden queries. And remember, the name of this program is Live, because right at the moment, that's exactly what we are, live. So you can get in touch with us a couple of ways, a couple of simple ways to do so.
Yeah, so please call us 6468 5994. See, I can remember it.
You can, yeah, did well. And we'll repeat the number a few times perhaps. And there's email as well.
tv@beyondgardens.com.au.
That's simple. And if you're emailing us, you get the opportunity, of course, to send us a picture of your problem or your bragging point or whatever it is that you want to talk about. And we can take those emails live. We can take those phone calls live right now. A live program's interesting, but it does require a little resources, and we're very grateful to be sponsored today by the Water Corporation, who bring this program to you. We've had a lot of support for the previous series that we did. This is a new series that will run for about 9 weeks. A lot of very positive feedback, so thank you all for that, and we'll do our level best to put into action many of those suggestions, well, all the ones that are anatomically possible anyway. Let's find out what people have been up to whilst we've not been with you live. Beginning with you, John. What's
Thanks,
news?
John. What's news? We are again firing up for our Beyond Gardens workshops. So, and in between the break, we've been getting on top of some water-wise verge conversions. So again, come to our workshops and look out for that. And some of you out there may also notice that I'm on another TV show. We've decided to start a TV show called Brew TV. Beer and brewing is another one of my passions, and we managed to start it up. So
Brilliant. Multimedia
good fun.
personality. And you reckon?
Oh, yeah.
Multimedia.
Look, the other thing is, while we were on a break, there was repeats of the first series.
There were.
And there were many, many phone calls and emails coming through, and we just couldn't get to them all.
No.
So many.
The other thing is, look, I find this difficult to explain because it's almost impossible, but we're live right now. But you may be watching us and we're not live. So if we're not live, I'm sure there'll be a little crawler across the bottom of the screen down here somewhere saying, don't call now because it's not really live.
Or a repeat up in the corner would be good.
Repeat, yes.
Yeah.
Encore.
Yes,
Yeah.
encore. Yeah, okay. But look, right now, trust me, I'm in the media, we're live, so you can call us. One of the other things that's happened during the break is that we went off on a fairly extended trip throughout, well, we called it the Wildflower Tour. It perhaps didn't live up to as much of the expectations as we might have hoped because it's not been a very good year. But the tour began in Tamin, out in the wheat belt, so we've got the odd picture or two to take you through that. Tamin, a lovely town, and we got a terrific reception from the locals there. Then we carried on east through the wheat belt country, and I don't know whether if you travel that way, go out of your way to visit some of the rocks because they're quite splendid, they're quite different from all the country around it, and there's different flora and everything.
It's true, but geez, it doesn't sound very cool, does it? But rocks are so cool. Check them out.
Really.
No, have a look. Have a look at them.
Well, I mean, the main thing is you've got the reason why most of the towns there near rocks are simply because of the rock and the water that collected, which enabled the people to get from Perth through to the goldfields. So nearly every town on that main run has a rock or two. But the nice part about the rock running itself being the water just flows straight off it is you get this lovely flora growing around the side of it, extra stuff that you don't see anywhere else in the wheat belt. So the rock flora is unique and well worth looking at. And I thought it might be worth just looking at one of them. This is one of the plants called Diplomena. Some people call them lanterns, and I guess you can see why.
Or bells.
Bells, yeah, fair enough. Lovely range of native plants. They're really great. And this one's just growing quite literally in the rock. Quite amazing, quite amazing. And now let's quickly move on our little tour. And our next stop is Westonia. We'll hold the tour in a moment to rush to the phones. But I want to get to Westonia because Westonia is a most unusual town. it's sort of not quite goldfields and not quite wheat belt, so it has a bit of an identity crisis. But it's a fantastic town. If you go into town, they've done a beautiful job. They've also got a great community garden with some really wonderful veggies growing there in town, and it really is a fabulous little town. Loved Westonia. Okay, so we'll come back. We'll pick up the tour a bit later on. But
we do. We've got
rumour has it there's a caller on the line.
We do. We have our first caller for this evening. Episode.
That's great. Welcome to the new series of Beyond Gardens Live. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hey. Yes, you're with us.
Yeah. My name's Rick. I'm in Balga, and for a few years I've been trying to get strawberry gums.
Mm-hmm.
And no one seems to be able to help.
Well, what's the nature of the issue?
He wants one.
I can't seem to buy one.
Oh, you can't buy strawberries? Wow.
No, strawberry gum. Eucalyptus olida.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I heard the strawberry bit.
I know of 4 strawberry gums in WA, and so I'm watching them to wait until they flower and fruit, and I'll be getting some as soon as they do.
That can't be that scarce. Surely the major seed suppliers would be able to provide you with it?
Impossible.
Get on our forum, stay in touch, and when I get them, I'll let you know and I'll share with you.
Oh,
it's a really special.
Nice,
it's a really special plant. This one. Would you like to tell us why you'd like strawberry gum?
Because for the fragrance, to make teas and bookmarks. I'm a bit of a hippie, so make soaps and stuff out of it, hopefully.
Teas and bookmarks, did you say?
Teas, bookmarks, soaps.
Okay. All right. So you want to scent the books?
Yeah.
All right. You know, it's another interesting thing about that plant is that it's kind of a flavour enhancer for fruit.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
But I can't seem to find anything about it anywhere, and I keep being promised it's around, it's coming, but no.
Well, as soon as I get it, I'll have it, and there'll be a source. So get on the www.beyondgardens.com.au. We've got a forum. There's a bush foods section. I'm putting that in as a bush food. It's edible, and it's an Australian native plant. So get online, register your interest. Someone in the community might have one already.
Indeed. I am surprised. Can I just ask, have you tried something like Nindathana seeds?
I haven't heard of that.
Oh, look, okay.
One trees, and there's another one that's supposed to be really good out in Wattle Grove. But
we'll get it.
I'd be prepared to bet that Nindathana have it.
Let's have a look. I'll have a look for you right now.
Yeah, Steve's got nothing else to do. The name of the company, Nindathana Seeds, is now run by Greening Australia. Nindethana. Nindathana. And we'll put this up on the web page as well. I'd be very surprised if they didn't have it. I would be very surprised.
They don't have it.
Just a minute. What? No results.
There we go.
Oh, forget I said that. Wipe the tape. Last 3 minutes.
Good old live TV.
Just didn't happen.
Yep.
Look, we'll follow it up.
Talk to the people who are really into the trees.
Yes.
And they sound really interested. They go, yeah, we'll get right onto it. And then nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
It's like, I can't seem to get people to think they're going to be a wonderful thing to have here.
Well, let's discover the power of television. We have a good audience. We know we have a great audience, and thank you for watching. If you know about it, let us know. Get in touch with the forum, as Steve says.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see how it works. Okay.
Thanks very much for calling.
Yeah, that's great.
Stay in touch.
Yep. Okay, we have a second caller online.
Yes, we do.
Yep.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes?
I'm just wondering, we have a cherry tree in our garden. We planted 2 years ago. It hasn't grown much, and I can't see any development in it. Just wondering how to care for a cherry tree.
Well, the first question I have to ask you is, whereabouts are you? Where is your garden?
It's in the backyard, like...
No, I'm sorry, I mean suburb. Whereabouts in WA?
In Maddington.
In Maddington, okay.
That's the answer.
My own view Cherries anywhere in the coastal plain are a total waste of time. I'm sorry. We just don't get enough chill factor for the cherries we have available to us. Even up in the hills, they're touch and go. And I think it's wrong. I know that people have been promoting cherries. Quite honestly, that's wrong. There's nothing I can give you that will make your cherry bear fruit. It is seasons, it's the number of chill hours, and cherries are far more sensitive than most of the other stone fruit. So I'm sorry. Look, just occasionally somebody might prove me wrong with the odd cherry or two.
Yeah.
But I say, even up in the hills, these really cold nights, still not enough chill factor.
Very, very infrequent.
And you'll also
Can't guarantee.
you'll also get a gradual decline of the whole tree itself.
It's a great disappointment, and I'm sorry if you've been led to believe that you will get cherries, because my own view is you wouldn't.
Probably we didn't ask a lot of questions back then. We bought it from Swan Valley area.
But where you buy it, you see, it's where you plant it that counts. The tree itself might struggle on, but as John says, it probably will suffer a little bit. They all suffer in the heat of our summer. But as far as fruiting's concerned, well, definitely not this year.
No.
Buckley's chance. We've hardly had any cold nights at all lately. So, look.
So what kind of trees are good for this area?
Well, you'd be better off if you want a fruiting tree. You could go for a plum, an apricot, a peach. All those will bear fruit where you are quite happily. The cherry is out of its range. Citrus, bulletproof. We'll talk about citrus a bit later on. But bulletproof, they don't need the chill. Many apples are low chill, and look for low chill varieties of the other stone fruits as well. But cherries,
forget about it.
I'm sorry. Now
okay.
somebody, look, if somebody gets a huge crop of cherries off their tree on the coastal plain, I'd love to hear from you.
I've only seen one cherry tree do well.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry to be disappointed.
Yes, no, it's a bit of a sad state of affairs when, unfortunately, people do get sold cherries to say, they'll grow here.
They have been promoted, and really lovely tree. Beautiful tree. Oh no, I won't make you jealous and show you pictures of huge bunches of cherries.
Exactly.
It would be mean, but let's do it. No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, we won't.
We have another caller there.
Well,
I think you've been waiting patiently for us to come back on air live.
Been several weeks of gaps, so we hope we're not too late. Hello.
Hi, g'day. How are you guys?
Good.
We're well, thank you.
Look, I've got a question about strawberry plants.
Yes.
Last season we pulled out our veggie patch and just left the strawberry plants there, and of course they've grown out to a big patch about 2-3 square metres. Of course this is unproductive. We can't get the fruit, and there's a lot of dead growth underneath. So I was just looking for suggestions of what to do with this patch.
It's interesting. One of the favourite quiz night questions of mine is, why is a strawberry called a strawberry? Now, these two learned gentlemen probably know the answer to that. Do you know the answer to that? No, it's unfair.
Well, look,
question without notice.
Because it was grown on straw.
We assume because it's grown on straw. Yes, not so. It's actually a corruption of stray berry, because this is exactly what they do. They send out runners, and these runners take root as they go. So the plant strays. When we grow it in the garden, we need to control this habit. So if you're looking at one central plant, you want that to fruit, and you cut off the runners. Right? You cut them off. You don't let them develop. Unless you want some fresh plants for next year, in which case you let a runner or two go out and establish a root system, then you can cut that off from the parent plant, dig it up and transplant it. So what you really need to do is to get some vigour back into your strawberry. We normally grow them in the garden for no more than 3 to 5 years, because then they come down with a virus, they lose vigour, so that's when you need to get fresh plants. And now you can get seedlings. You can get strawberry seedlings, and they're pretty good.
Start seeing a lot more come onto the market.
Get new ones.
In the next couple of weeks, I'd say.
Yeah. I was just thinking about the flavour of strawberries. Don't you reckon the flavour on today's strawberries is so much better than it has been a long time?
Oh, look, there's, on the subject of strawberries, choosing your strawberries now, we've all done it. You've got a beautiful bunch of strawberries to choose in front of you, and you pick it up and you look for the nicest, you know, the ones with the cleanest, plumpest, brightest colour.
Yep.
The trick to choosing really tasty strawberries is not to use your eyes, but to use your nose. And actually, it's there in the species name.
It is. I'm desperately trying to spell it.
All right.
Okay, all right, we got that. Ah, look, we better show you a picture or two of strawberries just to make your mouth water.
The better they smell, the better they taste. And you can,
that's it.
Yeah, it's all there.
And that's the case with many of these.
It might look a little bit silly in the supermarket, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah, oh, look at that. Ooh, look at that.
Of strawberries.
Yeah, you like that?
Fragraria.
That's even better.
Same as fragrance.
And you know, the plant, that's how a plant should look when you first put it in.
Yep.
And then it just goes, all right, out all over the place. So it's a matter of bringing it back under control. But I would suggest start with fresh ones. And then, as I say, don't let them run. And by the way, you can still use straw underneath them to keep the fruit clean, even though it's not the origin of the name.
Yep.
Somebody was running around playing with your lower regions there, John.
Yes.
Are you still in
no,
good order?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I think I still work. I love
Keeps you
live
right
TV.
on the edge, doesn't it?
Okay, so we do have another caller online, and if you need to call us, you can call us 6468 5994. As you can see, we're popular
Beautifully
tonight.
said, as our caller's just done. Hello, welcome to the program. Who are we talking to?
Hello, it's Camelo from Carina.
Hi, Carmelo.
I've had a couple of years of fruit fly issues, and I've got Sarah traps, natural lure, and decided to probably attack it a bit harder this year because I haven't gone too hard in previous years. Is it time to start using them? And the trees are fairly big, so in terms of netting, it's probably not an option. I'm just wondering if you could give me some advice on when to start and how best to do it.
Yeah, it's a very topical issue. You might have seen in the newspaper, I think it was only yesterday, in fact, the Hills fruit growers appealing to gardeners, domestic gardeners, to control fruit flies because the main chemical we've had for the control of fruit fly was withdrawn from us a couple of years ago and will be withdrawn from the Hills growers, I think, at the end of October. There is a great deal of debate about the validity of that withdrawal, but anyways, it's going to happen by the look of it. Now, when we come to control fruit fly, we've got three methods really. So we have year-round trapping, and so that goes all year, right? So if you're hanging up stuff in jars, the lure, and normally it's a two-part component. You've got an attractant and you've got a poison. Some cases they just don't even have a poison; they just trap them in the jar. That goes on all year round. So there's not a season for that. There is a season for what's called foliar baiting, which is where you mix up a sludge, and it's usually something like malathion, or they can also use some of the bacterial insecticides mixed up in a sugary base usually and sploshed thickly all over the foliage. The idea of that is again to attract the feeding females, hopefully, the feeding females, and kill them. But the rain washes it off, so you have to do it again and again. And the third component is the cover spray, and that's the one we don't have anymore. So now we have number 4, and number 4 is the one I think is probably going to assume a much more important role, and that is prevention, exclusion. Exclusion. So we're getting more and more
Which doesn't
people.
really apply to you, unfortunately.
Well, it can, but it's a lot of hard work. People like Peter Cochran have been promoting this for a long time. Well, yes, I was going to say that's the two options. You either prune your plant down small and put it underneath a permanent cover, and then you use something like mosquito netting, or you can get special fruit fly exclusion netting. And what you've got to be careful of with that is you've got to roll it up when the bees are around, and then once the fruit has been set or the plants have been pollinated, you bring it back down again. And the other way, as Steve so rightly says, is individual little bags, which sounds like a lot of hard work, but if you weigh it up against mixing chemicals, donning safety gear, spraying it on,
ingesting something
cleaning
that's been through that process,
licking the poison off your hands. If you weigh it against that, it's actually not too time consuming.
And you can actually get exclusion bags for whole branches as well, so you don't have to exclude individual fruits.
Looking at that.
There's no simple answer. In summary, I'm sorry to say, the heart and lungs of Beyond Gardens, our esteemed leader Gary Heddy he was in ag, and he was in part of a project that had fruit fly, medfly on the run for a wee while there. So it would be lovely if he was on the panel. He could tell you a little bit about?
Yeah, I think it would be lovely to have that. It was a mass breeding.
Oh, yeah.
The Department of Agriculture did this wonderful program where they released sterilised male fruit flies around. Fruit flies down coming in that sense was they only mate once. So if they mated with the sterile fly, that was it. That was the idea. You just swamped.
Yeah.
All the fertile males were swamped by the sterile males. And it worked really well. They wiped fruit fly out of Carnarvon. Yeah.
Yep.
You're not big fans of the Ceratraps then in the natural lure?
Well, it's only an attractant, so anything will do as a whole.
It's degrees of effectiveness.
Yeah.
To some extent, that's effective, but you want it to be more effective than it is.
Oh, look, when you're trapping, all you do is reduce the numbers. You do not control them.
Yep.
I mean, I'd like to think you would. And in fact, if every single home in the whole metropolitan area trapped, we probably would control them.
Yeah.
But since you're trapping, and chances are your neighbour isn't, all you do is reduce. Carmelo, I'm sorry. It's a very difficult problem we really have yet to come to grips with.
Okay, thanks for that.
Yep.
Okay.
Perseverance.
Good luck with it. I think the individual exclusion bags are probably the best option.
They are.
To be honest.
They're brilliant. I use them at home, and I'll get some photos maybe for next week if I get.
Well, on top of that, you can also keep out birds and anything else that wants to get into the fruit.
Oh, and you've got the extra, the extra bonus of unwrapping
It's
this
like
little present, because they ripen in the bag and you open it up and there's this beautiful fruit.
And it doesn't interfere with the ripening. That's the interesting part.
It's amazing.
It may even enhance it.
Yeah.
So, the individual protection, the individual bag's got a lot going for them. If you have a lot of old pairs of pantyhose, works.
Who are you speaking to?
He's looking in your direction, Steve. Okay.
The audience, Steve. The
Yes,
audience.
we have another caller on the line.
Hello, welcome to our garden. Who are we talking to?
Hi, it's Sharon here from Bassendean. How are you going?
Oh, we're
Sharon,
going well,
thank you.
thanks, Sharon. Thanks for calling.
Good. That's fine. A question is, I have a young mango tree. It's been in the ground for about a year now, and it's not producing leaves at all. The tree seems to be healthy, but no new growth.
Wouldn't be too upset about it. Right now, mango's very much a warm weather beastie. It tends to sit and sulk over winter. Hopefully you've still got the makings of a tiny bud just at the tip of that group of leaves, if you have a look. Any time now, that will start to open up and make new growth in the metropolitan area. Any time now.
But that's exactly the right word. That is exactly the right word for what mangoes do over winter. They sulk, especially young ones. They're not from a part of the world that gets as cool as it does here. So they don't really jump about and go woohoo. In winter.
It's a risky time.
But it's getting warmer, and you'll notice that it's
Today would have been a nice day for them.
Yeah, as the plants, well, I've got a few mangoes home, and I can tell you they're just starting to go now. I've been watching them anxiously.
A few mangoes.
A few. Come on, John.
Another story. But you will find that as the plants get bigger, they tend to have a longer growing season as well. So the bigger the plants are, the earlier they get away. Yeah. Winter's the bad time for mangoes.
Yep.
So stay with it.
And just so that it doesn't grow high, would you suggest tipping it?
You can. You've got to prune mangoes fairly carefully. If you look at the mature trees, you'll find there's not a lot of branching. It's fairly limited branching. I certainly wouldn't be tipping it now. I would be waiting until it is back again in active growth, and then if you need to tip it out, that's when I'd do it.
Okay.
Okay.
No worries. Just one more question.
Yes, Sharon.
Just with bananas, when do they fruit? How long does it take for them to fruit?
Sharon, I think the best thing you should do is move to Carnarvon.
Well, they're pretty good there.
Yeah. But I must admit to have been surprised by what's further south you seen banana fruit.
Oh.
Musselton for me. I don't think I've gone...
I've seen them here locally, around
locally, yes.
Bayswater
Yes, you
Morley.
will. Yes, you will.
Yeah, easily in
The
Perth.
trouble is that, of course, since we don't get the uniform warmth which tropical plants demand, is that often the fruiting process is very slow, sometimes delayed, and sometimes you lose them. But here in the metropolitan area, I would expect to get a banana up to flower and fruit in year 3. And now that means that you only maintain one stem. This is very important. One stem, right? Don't let any of those suckers come off the side. Once you start to see signs of the banana flowering, then you can allow one sucker to come up. And when that first banana has flowered and set bananas, and often we wrap them in blue bags you'll see being used. That's to keep the warmth and hasten the ripening. Once you've got the crop off that particular stem of banana, that's it, no more. I'd say get out the chainsaw. You don't even need that. Kitchen knife will do the job. Soft as. And you cut it off, and then you let the new one take over.
It's a surprisingly common mistake that people go, oh, I got a good lot of bananas off that. I wonder what I'll get next year. So you've really got to be brutal and let the pup come up. So yeah, it's like we had a call where someone had a very old banana tree.
Oh, you can keep a banana plant going for a while, but you only for it once. That's it.
And it's just maintaining that parent.
Okay.
Good luck with that, Sharon.
Yeah. Good luck, Sharon.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. No, it's in its second year, so I'll wait another year.
Great, that's it.
and do keep feeding it on, particularly when the warm weather comes.
They're hungry and thirsty, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. It gets fed quite a lot, actually.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right, thanks kindly.
No worries. Thanks, Sharon.
Okay.
We have one more call.
Do we?
Yes.
It's a busy day, and we love busy days. It's a busy little garden.
Yes.
You're watching Beyond Gardens Live. Hello, and welcome to the program.
Hi, my name's Kerry.
Hello, Kerry.
Hi, Kerry.
And I'm fine, thank you. What I have is a lemon tree. We live up at Moore River. And anyway, the tree just doesn't have any leaves on it. It gets a few fruit, and at the moment it's got blossom but no leaves.
Oh, I suspect, knowing that part of the world, Moore River, there's a fair bit of salt around there. Do you think you've got salt in your place?
Well, I know we've got limestone, and we're about 5 or 6 kilometres from the ocean.
Oh, okay.
But originally my husband put beer on it, a homemade brew.
Oh,
There's nothing wrong with that. My lime tree always gets a little bit of beer. So.
Whether it does any good, we honestly don't know.
That wouldn't drop the leaves.
Directly or indirectly.
I suspect it comes down to the manner in which it was established. Basically, a citrus tree in your part of the world is very much out of its comfort zone, so you've got to do a lot of work to make it comfortable. And that involves getting lots of organic matter in the ground for starters. It may involve countering the high pH of the soil, but usually it's okay. Lots of organic matter. If you're in sandy soil, get a bit of bentonite clay in there as well, heaps and heaps of compost, and then, most importantly, add trace elements, complete trace element mix. Now, this is in response to your question, but to anybody who's got citrus at the moment, they are either in new growth or about to burst into new growth, and this is a critical time to be applying trace elements, a complete trace element mix. And you need to be adding it 2 or 3 times a year. 2 or 3 times a year, no kid. You can't afford to let your thing set lots of fruit if it's got no leaves. So you might have to see what becomes of the flowers and thin some out. Do apply the fertiliser, do apply good mulch over the top of the soil as well. And by good mulch, we need to stress a good mulch, don't we?
Large, coarse, irregular particles that hold little, if any, water.
Sounds like the sermon, doesn't it? Absolutely,
exactly.
You don't want a soggy mulch. You want that water to get through to the soil, and you want it to stay there. So it's letting the water through and then acting as a kind of a parasol to keep it.
So if we put a bit of soil around it, and I've put potash on it, should I put something else on it?
No. Please pull back from the potash. Adding potash on its own can cause major problems, particularly phosphorus deficiency, but also manganese deficiency as well.
And it's quite a limey area on top of it, you know. So it's not.
You're not helping yourself. Somebody, I'm sure, has told you this is what you need for fruit trees. What you need is either a citrus fertiliser or a general-purpose fertiliser, and go and buy complete trace elements. Don't fall for the trick of saying what it needs is magnesium or zinc. That's really fraught with danger. Just go and buy a complete trace element mix and apply according to instructions. 3 times a year. Seriously, 3 times a year.
Tremendous. Thank you very much for
Good
that
luck
help.
with it.
Or you could, just while we've got you, maybe
Snow.
a quarter of the rate that's recommended on the bag as well. Like they usually go a little bit.
That's off the
too-
fertiliser, but the trace element use the recommended
Yes.
rate.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Absolutely.
Good.
so
Definitely
give
got
the
complicated.
husband the beer and not the tree.
Oh yeah, you're always going to give the hubby
Don't
the beer.
worry. Don't worry about the beer. It wouldn't have done any harm.
Although the beer would probably keep the snails away from the young shoots.
Look, at one of the workshops, and it was a gift, admittedly.
Thanks for
but
calling.
Somebody said to me,
Okay.
well, what about the lawn? She said, I've been putting our own stale beer dregs on the lawn. And I'd say it's a gift because it's a very old joke. And I said, it's wonderful because it makes it come up half cut.
Oh, dear.
I say it was a gift and it's a very old joke.
That's a very bad joke, and I
very
think
bad joke.
on that note, it's time for a break. We'll see you soon.